Hello and welcome to this episode of the Student Experience Podcast. Today, joining us is South African-born Aussie entrepreneur, Jeremy Chetty. Jeremy is the co-founder of Student Edge, which is a free student membership community. The student turned entrepreneur conceived the idea with his friends while they were studying at Murdoch University 10 years ago. They essentially identified a gap in the market to build a platform that would help students with the challenges of student life. This program, Student Edge, helps students to save money, find jobs, and deliver useful content to help them make the right career choices that matches their skill set and their passion. And I might add, it also helps them identify the study pathways that best suit them too. Today, it has over 1.2 million members, 100 plus education institutions, and a growing list of sponsors who've joined the community. And Jeremy is currently serving as the Chief Product Officer. He's also active in the startup community. Jeremy is currently the entrepreneur in residence at Murdoch University, advising, motivating, and educating students on how to turn an idea into a business. And finally, he's also passionate about helping the community. Jeremy holds advisory and board positions with the Royal Commonwealth Society, Aspire Australia Day Council in WA, the Office of Multicultural Interests, the Australian Air Force Cadets, and Willett Senior High School. Welcome, or is it State High School? Welcome, Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tanya. Great to be on the podcast. I know this has been a few months in the making, so really happy to be here and share some value to your listeners.
Great, and it is very exciting to finally be here. And I guess to start with, I'm really interested that there's so many different aspects to student experience, particularly in a world that is increasingly complex. They may not have considered, it may not have been considered as important in the past. As entrepreneurs, it is, I guess, our jobs to seek out and address these gaps, and Student Edge fills a very big gap. Can you share with us the original challenges you identified and how they're now being addressed?
Yeah, look, great question. It is a big macro one, but I'll try and, I guess, give an answer that really should resonate with, I think, a lot of people going through high school and that process of choosing a career. So going back to your question around, okay, what was the original challenge? Well, that original challenge is still the current challenge of what we're solving as an entrepreneur, myself, and then as a business as Student Edge, is really coming back to, that whole thing about how do we actually help young people make better, more informed career choices. So that was the heart of the challenge that Student Edge was trying to solve back when we originally started the idea. And obviously hindsight's a beautiful thing. So I'm giving you the flash forward, and looking back. But if we had to go back to when we originally started it, it was us as students at the time looking at our younger brothers and sisters and going, okay, why is this process of choosing a career so difficult, so stressful, so challenging? And why isn't there a better way of helping young people discover who they are? What's my talent? What's my skill? What's my gifting? And then how do I take those next steps towards, either learning about it or getting into a course or getting into a TAFE or a university? We're still getting that narrative right now where you got, go to TAFE, go to university, get a job. Like, we're still hearing that narrative. When in reality, young people have got a plethora of different pathways and options. And I guess that's the message that Student Edge is trying to present with our platform and our membership is how do we connect you? How do we inform you? How do we present this content to you in a platform? Obviously our website at the time, but now it's an app as well. How do we deliver that in a fun way, in an engaging way? So what we've done is taken something that's traditionally boring.
Yes.
We've wrapped it around what we call the Student Edge membership. So that's the heart of, I guess, why we have a business and a business model that sits behind it is we have a Student Edge membership, and underpinning that membership, we have three pillars, which is really the three value proposition points as to why students join Student Edge. So we created that because we realized we can't take something so dry and boring and then start a business from it. What can we wrap around this problem?
Yeah.
That will be fun, that would be something they would come back to, something they're willing to join and sign up to. So we created the Student Edge membership. So I guess I'm just sharing this, how we started and how it's packaged up. But so it's called Save, Earn, Learn. So basically help students save money, which is what we call better financial management. Help students earn money through connecting them with the part-time jobs, the casual jobs, but also getting them job ready through different learning courses and learning content, paid and free on our website. And that's really about getting job ready. And then the last bit is about learn, which is, again, coming back to that original problem, which is how do we help young people make better, more informed career and life choices. And we do that through our platform, through content, through learning courses. So Save and Learn underpins this membership. We have 1.2 million members now. We originally started charging for the membership. That was our original business model, but now it's free. And we make our money through sponsors and advertisers and providing insights and research to organisations that really underpins the entire organisation to make it sustainable, but completely free for the student. So, sorry, a long answer. I kind of touched on, I guess, the business and why we started it, but really we're solving a problem of that career and life. Like, how do we actually tell young people that it's not the end of the world having a bad ATAR score, because I was one of those people, or a failed ATAR score, whatever you want to say. You've got heaps of choices and pathways and options to get you to where you need to get to.
Yeah, and I just keep coming back to how important that message is even now. Like, I know when I finished high school and went to go to university last century, it was a very basic computer program that you basically put in your subjects you were doing, and it told you what your career options were. It didn't tell you anything about what might interest you or anything like that. And I still hear that a lot today, where students are still hearing you've got one chance. If you get the wrong course, you screwed up your life, and obviously creating so much pressure that students do not need. And I love that this is addressing that. And I also love that it is something that is useful for students, not just at one touch point, but throughout their student journey. Like, it has that kind of repetitive value for them.
Yeah. And we got to get that message across. And it's funny you say you got that little software tool. Tanya, there's some schools that the students still get a book.
Yeah.
A job guide. It's a job guide. It's like, here's all these careers, right? Yeah. Good luck.
And it would be interesting to know how many of those careers actually still exist.
Exactly.
By the time it published.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, me.
And this kind of comes into, I guess, my next question is, the focus is still so much more on the course that students are going to take, rather than looking at the job or the career first and then how they're going to get there. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I'm still hearing that narrative as well. And look, I guess it's the traditional stakeholders and organisations that are pushing that message, right? So, universities have a big influence over, that whole career process, in terms of they're in the schools, they're promoting themselves, they spend a lot of advertising, pushing that message of, hey, study business here, we're the best university for this. And obviously they, want to get people into the university, so they have to sell that message. But there are some universities, and of course I'm, a bit biased, but, Murdoch University, I'm an alumni there and heavily involved there, where we're trying to change that narrative, and starting to bring high school students into the campus, experiencing university in a different way, rather than that whole traditional message of, to your point, hey, study this course. We've got the best entrepreneurship course, or we've got the best, cyber security course. We've got to change that. It's all about, what do you want to learn? We should start there. And we're trying to do that from a Murdoch University point of view, around that whole entrepreneurship innovation lens, and starting off with high school. So we've actually got the current program with my former high school at Willetton Senior High School, where students in year 10 will be able to go through a 1-year program, actually just creating a business.
Cool.
And learning about enterprise skills and so forth. And it's not necessarily about starting a business. It's not at all.
No,
but at the end of the year,
they get life skills that they get along the way.
Exactly. And Murdoch University is powering all that. with the school and supporting them. And it's not about flogging a course or selling a course. It's all about, hey, this is what you want to do. This is where you really want to excel at, business or enterprise or innovation, whatever it may be, then this could be a path for you. And if it is a path for you, then of course, Murdoch University would be a great way to get in there. But we're not selling that message. We're changing that narrative and saying, hey, we're here to support you. If business is your dream, if business is your thing, we're here to support you. And here's a 12-month program, and they should get credits for it too, if they fully complete it, to take them on into the first year of university. So, what's there to lose? So,
So what, in your experience, what do you see that impact is for students in terms of their longer term journey and I guess their engagement, whether it's at university or whatever?
Great question, Tanya. Massive impact, because if you can help a young person at that age discover who they are, they will actually go on and trailblaze their own path because they are confident in knowing what they want or who they are, what they want, where they're going. If you didn't have that, right, so that's the impact, right? Because this is what happens if you don't have that. You do some subjects that you think, or your mum and dad think, or your career counselor thinks, you end up on this path.
Yep.
Then you end up studying these topics and courses and subjects in year 11 and 12. Great. You study you really hard. You may do well in some, you may excel in others. Doesn't matter. You get the score. You then go into this course at university that these subjects have now positioned you in. You get to first year uni and you're like, I hate this. And that's why there's a massive dropout rate, which we don't talk about openly. There's a massive dropout rate with first year students, right? Yeah. You got to look at the surveys and the stats that come out of that. Why? It's because we've gone a different path. And then what ends up happening, this is what we call about impact. What ends up happening is you have this unraveling now of, hey, what am I good at? And then you have students either deferring, or what they end up doing is jumping to another thing that they think
might be the next
thing. Now you're in your second degree, right? And in your second degree, you're halfway through that and you hate it as well. So now you've got this financial impact on your life because you're collecting HECS debt along the way. You've got all the mental stress and impact on your life. Combine it all and you've got this person that's really just not vibing, not really discovering who they are, unhappy at most times. And then you get all the symptoms and the flow-on effect of that, right? Where there could be, alcohol related, there could be, all these things just flow on if a person isn't connected to what they're giving, what their talent is, and the path they're on. It just unravels. And then you get a lot of people that get to probably 30. That's the impact. Get to 30. I've seen it, right? And go, this is what I really love doing. Wow. 10 years of just going through a snakes and ladder, course of life to discover who you are, when really we could save you 10 years, bring that into, high school, help you go through that whole process. And at least, even if it isn't that crystal clear answer, that's fine. But at least it sets you on a path to get you to that clarity and that purpose and that passion. So anyway, that's
and a lot of that is that you're already feeling empowered as opposed to disempowered.
Right. Right. Or fulfilling someone else's dream, mum and dad's.
Yeah. Yep.
Or the career counsellors. Yeah. So anyway, I think there's a real opportunity for young people to hear a new message. The good news is you have lots of options. The good news is it's okay to try and fail and try and fail. It's okay. It's okay. The best thing and the best advice I give young people is, you don't know what your talent is? Go and try things. Just don't stand still. Don't sit on the couch. Go and try things. And you will find it. You will find it one day if you keep trying. So that's my message to any young person that's in this position right now and really going through that, whirlwind of choosing a career, choosing subjects. Just keep trying stuff. You will find it. Once you find it, oh, mate, you'll be jumping down the street. You'll be pinging off the walls because you'll be so excited that you've discovered hey, this is who I am. This is what I love doing. And now can I find someone that'll actually pay me to do it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting. I've got another question that I haven't prepped you on, so we'll see how we go. I'm really interested in terms of for international students coming to Australia.
Yep.
So for a lot of those, they've got a course they've already applied for. They might have a lot of pressure from home. How do we support their student experience so that, they might already be a bit set, but there's always something that we can do to support and help and encourage and,
Yeah, really good question. And I think this cohort is the cohort that really fall through the cracks because they don't have that support. So I think if you have to ask me just a general comment on that, I think we do an average job of the student experience for international students in Australia. I think we do a really great job at winning them over.
Yeah. But then we kind of...
I think we all excel. I think from government to universities to colleges to corporates, we excel at winning the hearts and minds of international students to come to Australia. Great. That's the first part of the student experience, though. Mm. Where it then just drops off, where it goes to an average or mediocre and then a really poor experience is when they land in Australia. Yeah. That's a general comment because there are a lot of organisations doing fantastic things for the student experience. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying this is just the, what I see. And I've been in the space for like 19 years. Yeah. And I've worked with international students. We've got about 100,000 of them on our membership, right? So we can improve that experience. So coming back to your question, when they land here, the things that we should be supporting them is actually just the things that are not to do with their study. Mm. Where they really fall through the cracks is they don't have that pastoral care. They don't have that, either financial support in finding a job or finding some accommodation, finding friends, all those other things of the student experience that just we haven't got it right as a whole, right? There's pockets of people doing really good jobs of it, and we can learn from that. But I just think overall, as an international student experience, you see Australia, it's awesome. You land here, it's awesome, and then you start going, oh, hang on a second, this is really. Why aren't they supporting me? Like I'm paying lots of money for it too. Mm. No doubt the parents are scratching their heads too and going, well, hang on a second, where's the red carpet type, experience, but we don't deliver that. So it's more about the pastoral care. If you have to really just, lift the hood on it, the student experience, I think the academic side of things is there. There's a lot of tools, a lot of resources, a lot of support for it. It's that back end stuff. What's happening behind the scenes when the student actually goes back to their student accommodation? Are they lonely? Yeah. Are they struggling financially? Yeah. They're probably not eating like, poorly.
And I was listening to an ABC podcast this morning where they were talking to one student and he was working 11 p.m. till 6 a.m. really basic job just to survive. How you can survive and study.
Yep. Well, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. And then you end up falling through the cracks. And then the university doesn't really know who's falling through the cracks too, right? There's other issues at play there too, right? Who is falling through the cracks? Like, how do we identify them? How do we even know? So there's a lot of things going on, but just a general answer would be, the pastoral care element is where we can improve on the student experience for international students and really do a better job of it, because at the end of the day, we want them to have a better experience because they're going to go on and tell their friends, right, come and study in Australia. So we've got to close that loop. Yeah. Student experience. So, yeah.
And of course, we want everyone to succeed, which is why we want them to study.
Absolutely.
Now, you're not just an entrepreneur yourself, but you're also the entrepreneur in residence at Murdoch University. I know you've mentioned some of the types of initiatives, but are there other ones, particularly in terms of career readiness? So you talked about the entrepreneurial and life skills, but the career readiness element.
Yeah. Look, we have a place on campus called Launchpad. So it's obviously a physical space, but really it's a space on campus that's like a hub for innovation, entrepreneurship, but it's also about careers.
Cool.
Yeah. So the big element of that is we do things like lunch and learn. So we'll actually bring in different experts from different industries and set up panels and speaker series where we invite students just an hour every day to come in and learn about this particular industry, connect with these experts, hear from the horse's mouth what are some of the opportunities that exist in this sector, but also what are the challenges and where can students solve real world problems? Because at the end of the day, right, these organizations, these industries, these sectors are coming into the campus because they also want to see where the next, batch of talent is, right? So they've got an agenda too. But to answer your question, we do a lot of stuff. Well, the Launchpad team do a fantastic job in setting up these career, sessions, talks, seminars, webinars, expos. So we obviously do the traditional stuff that a lot of other universities do, where they'll do expos where they invite different, organizations onto the campus to actually connect and do speed dating for, the different jobs and stuff. So do all those traditional things, but Launchpad is that hub for all of that. It's not just about entrepreneurship innovation. It's actually been connecting with industry as well. And one obviously big program or big part of the program is we've got a Launchpad Academy, and that actually covers careers as well, because it's not just about starting a business. You're actually getting a bit of a taster of all the different, career opportunities you can have.
Yeah.
It's not just about building a business, but we wrap it around pitching a business idea. So, yeah. So Launchpad, at Murdoch.
Cool. And so I'm curious, I know Student Edge is online. Is that kind of a program also available for distance students?
Absolutely. Yep.
I feel like somewhere in Western Australia, which is very big, having these opportunities is so important.
Yep. All available online.
Awesome.
Yeah. As long as you got internet.
Which is also a challenge for...
Which is also a challenge for the student experience. I know that. Yep. Yeah. Regional areas, yeah.
Yeah. So that's all the questions that I have for you, Jeremy. Are there some projects that you might like to kind of share with us that you got in the pipeline, or any other work or anything?
Yes, I'm so glad you said that, Tanya, because we've got a green light this week from the organisers of a big festival called West Tech Fest, which happens in Western Australia annually. It's a week long of events that wraps around innovation startup. It's our event on the calendar. And one of the things I've been speaking to the organisers for years is, where's the young people? How do we get more young people here? So I came with an idea, which is, well, how do we get more young entrepreneurs connecting with the space? And what better way to do it than bring the old lemonade stand to life? So what I'm doing is bringing 30 little booths to the Western Hotel, into the ballroom, alongside all the adult entrepreneurs. And we're calling the Young Entrepreneurs Showcase. So 30 of WA's best high school entrepreneurs will showcase their business with a little branded stand at the hotel alongside the event, and get to connect with investors, business leaders, general public, mentors, and other entrepreneurs, older entrepreneurs, for one day, 10 to 2. So we're officially launching my concept called the Young Entrepreneur Showcase, which hopefully will be a staple on the calendar every year, where every young person in the state knows, hey, if I really want to showcase my business, there is a platform, there is a event, there is a place that I can showcase my wares. Because at the end of the day, Tanya, all young entrepreneurs need, especially in high school, is they just need support. They need an opportunity to promote themselves and someone to buy their product. If they've got that, they'll trailblaze their way into being a business owner. So that's what the point of the showcase is, just to get them to connect, showcase, and get people to actually buy their product.
Yeah, and how much, self-belief and recognition in, schmoozing with the grown-ups.
Correct.
and being seen as an equal. I think that
Correct.
sounds so
Correct.
exciting.
So there you go. So funny you ask. So that's happening Tuesday, December 6th at the Western Hotel in Perth. If you're in Perth listening, come and join us. It's free, and come and support the next generation of young entrepreneurs.
That sounds so exciting. Anything else on the card?
No, that's it. Thank you.
That's it. Awesome.
Thank you for the opportunity to plug that. That's awesome. And you're doing a fantastic job with this podcast. I think if we can improve the student experience, not just, like I said, international students or high school students, if we can just have that lens of anyone is in that space of I'm working with students, I'm helping students, I'm supporting students, I'm recruiting students, I'm educating students, anyone is in that space, they need to do what you're basically doing and telling everyone, is that we need to look at that student experience, because it's the circle, right? You look after them at the start, they'll come back and they'll obviously promote your organization or whatever it may be, but just deliver a really good experience. And look, Tanya, it doesn't take much.
No, and I mean, these days we're talking about multiple careers. That's potentially a multiple iterated student, you know, that's coming back because they know how awesome they felt when they came.
Yeah. So anyway, keep doing what you're doing. I love the podcast. Let's keep, I guess, informing, educating, you know, motivating people to do this, because it's such an important aspect of the student life. And then, you know, wherever they go on to. I always say, if there's any teachers listening, I always say teachers are the most underrated profession, and they are the coal face of that student experience. Teachers need to keep doing what they're doing, even though they're seriously underpaid and undervalued and all the rest. If there's teachers listening, definitely keep doing, because teachers were a big influence in my life and why I went on the entrepreneurship journey. It just takes one teacher to believe in you. That's it.
One voice. Yeah. One
voice. That's it. So I'll never forget my teachers that did that at Willerton. They're now retired now, but it's funny because it's so funny because it's the same teachers that you think this is the teacher that actually disciplined me the most. Was the same teacher that when I went back to the school to say I got this business idea called Student Edge, was the first teacher to support me.
That's awesome.
It's just, so yeah. So teachers, if you think you're being hard on your students, don't be so hard on yourself, because those are the same students, the same kids will actually come back because you have such a strong relationship, right? If you're in that disciplinary chats, it's very heated at the time, but you do learn a bit about each other.
Yeah.
And there's a little bond there that you just, in hindsight, and you look back and you go, oh, okay. You know, that teacher really was hard on me, but he really cared for me, or she really cared for me. So if there's any teachers on the podcast listening, you guys are the coal face of the student experience. So I encourage you to keep doing what you do, because it helped me.
Thank you. That sounds really great. And thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you. All the best with the podcast too, and we'll stay in touch.
Sounds good.